A huge thank you to the awesome folks over at Hulu for this first ever early screening I've received from them for a movie called Clock. Now, Clock will premiere on their platform on April 28th, and it is Alexis Jacknow's feature film debut. However, is this movie any good? Well, stick around and let's talk about it in this spoiler-free review. Hey everyone, what's going on? Welcome to the channel and thank you so much for taking your own time out to check out this spoiler-free review on a movie called Clock, written and directed by Alexis Jacknow and starring people such as Melora Hardin, Dianna Agron, J.R. Lee and Saul Rubinek, and follows the story of a woman's desperate bid to fix her biological broken clock. The runtime of the movie is 1 hour and 32 minutes, about an hour and 27, hour and 28 excluding credits. And going into this movie, I saw the poster, I didn't see any trailers whatsoever, so I was pretty blind going in, which is how I like to approach a movie if I'm able to. Now, I have seen Dianna Agron and Melora Hardin in some movies I've reviewed here on the channel as part of early screeners before, so it was really cool to see them here once again. And what is my overall thoughts on Clock? Well, I think this is a very ambitious feature film debut by Alexis Jacknow, with solid performances across the board, and for most part I really enjoyed this movie. So let's get straight into some positives. Firstly, Dianna Agron plays our lead character of Elliot Patel. Now, Ella's journey throughout this movie is all around motherhood, and there's a big sense of about heritage and motherhood, and there's a lot of kind of family messaging in here, and also those of kind of society pressures, so to say, because her character of Ella faces kind of a difficult task in terms of trying to balance pressures around her from her friends and family, because they're all saying to her, and she is married, a guy called Aidan Patel, they're saying to her, okay, so when are you going to have a kid, or when are you guys going to start a family? Oh, well, why don't you want kids? And you know, those kind of questions, which can definitely pile on pressure, and maybe something that she didn't want and was adamant, kind of making it change her mindset. Dianna Agron absolutely steals the show in this movie. She is electric, and you really feel for her character throughout, whether it is right at the beginning of the start and how she is kind of her own mindset at the time, or how it kind of leans towards the end. She balances emotional weight really well. You give and believe in her performance. She sells you on this character of Elliot Patel, who is really struggling throughout this entire ordeal with the events that transpire. And it's hard to talk about, guys. I really want to go into spoilers, but I'm not going to. Then we've got, of course, Melora Hardin, who also gives an equally good job as Dr. Simmons, who is at this clinical kind of base where Ella ends up visiting. Both of them have really good chemistry together, and I think they work well off one another, with some great supporting performances from J.R. Lee and Saul Rubinek here as, of course, Ella's partner and her dad Joseph with Saul Rubinek. Yeah, so I think all round performances are really good, all believable, and you can all buy into them. Also, I've got to really give a big praise here to Martin Vian, if I've got that correctly, who is the cinematographer, because the cinematography here, guys, is absolutely beautiful, and there's some wide shots here, but also the cinematography and directing work hand in hand in certain shots, because when we have Ella in certain situations, the cinematography is a wide shot, but we've also got, if it's like a long bookcase, or whether it's like two balloon arches in one of the beginning scenes, they're like closed in on the character, so it kind of detracts a little bit from the, you know, outer scales of that frame. But it's done in a great way, because it makes you feel like this character is kind of closed in, although she just wants to, you know, be with her friends and family, and she's happy in an extent to her life. They are all putting these pressures on her, so the cinematography definitely reflects that. Well, first act, I will say, is quite brutal at times, and when I say that, this is kind of a trigger warning for anyone, is there's definitely some disturbing imagery here. There's certainly some scenes I was like, wow, like that happened? I was like, like that happened. Wow. Oh, I was like, okay, I'm intrigued where this is gonna go. So, definitely with Alexis Jacknow's writing and directing, she kind of holds no punches here, guys. She just goes straight for the message and delivers it in a really, really good and effective way. And the music also by Stephen Lukash also really adds to the movie and these kind of tension moments, or whether our character is going through some struggles, you feel that with kind of the accompanying music, even if it's just softly played in the background. It's added to an effective level where you can really just buy into, again, what is going on. So I have a lot of positives for this movie. However, I feel like this might just be myself, guys. Maybe you may find this to be like an absolute 5 out of 5 movie. And don't get me wrong, I'm definitely giving this a recommendation. But the negative that I have for this movie, as I mentioned before, it focuses a lot on motherhood and about a woman's anatomy, of course, about a biological clock. Now, I only saw the poster, as I mentioned. I didn't know the trailer or the synopsis whatsoever before going into it. And after I finished the movie, I was like, wow, that was a really good movie. I really, really enjoyed it. But I couldn't fully, of course, engage in the messaging about a woman's biological clock, because I'm not a woman. So I could certainly take, moments from that, whether it's kind of like something happened to me in like kind of like personal life, so to say. But I think this movie will definitely kind of play a factor more for people, of course, women who have maybe gone through this same thing, or maybe if it's a man and a woman maybe trying to have a partner, or two women or men, whatever the case should be. Definitely if you have had a baby, or maybe experienced difficulties having a baby, which can be, of course, a sensitive subject, I think this movie can definitely, hit home a message for you in terms of maybe those kind of societal pressures and maybe what you have actually endured yourself. So I think in that market, this movie is definitely more for that. The only other little minor nitpick that I have, which again, these aren't anything crazy, guys, but I think there's one or two things here in the story that for me didn't really work as effectively as I wished they had, if I'm going to be honest. But besides that, again, I'm going to just say that I recommend this movie. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I wonder if you guys will enjoy it. And if you do manage to check this out on April 28th, I'll leave any and all comments down below and let me know what your thoughts were of Clock. My overall score for this movie is a 3.5 out of 5 stars. So I really appreciate you checking out this movie review. I hope you have enjoyed it, and if you have, give the video a big thumbs up and also subscribe to the channel by clicking the red button down below so I can see you again on a future video. I've also launched merch, so you can actually get a hold of some Did You See That official merch by clicking the link down below in the description box. But over on my Patreon, memberships start from £2 per month. You can also request for me to watch movies and review them here onto the channel. Plus, it includes so many more perks. So definitely click that link down below, guys, in the description box to join Patreon today. And I also want to give a big thank you to all my awesome supporters over on Patreon who help really support my channel. And they also have YouTube channels as well, so their names will be down below in the description box. Please go subscribe to them and go show them some love. And until the next time that I see you, I'll be seeing you later.